Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday, everyone. It's so good to see you as you come on into the room. So this morning, we are happy that we just got back from Kentucky. So I got my Hezekiah fix. I got it all in. I just wanted to, as always, thank God for traveling mercy, for bringing us back and forth across the highway. Thank Him for keeping my family circle unbroken. We're asking prayer for all those that are bereaved this morning. We're still continuing to lift our family from Texas up in prayer. On Edna, keeping her lifted up in prayer. Also, any of you that are going through, I know they buried our good sister Faye Hyatt Golden yesterday, and they said she had a wonderful service. And thank you, Dr. James Harris, for a wonderful eulogy. Also, I just want to highlight just a couple things before I get started. I know most of you know that actually today is Allen Temple's 200th anniversary, church anniversary for being in existence. So we thank God for longevity. We thank God for keeping this church as a beacon of light in this city. We also are planning to, in April, a 3-day celebration for the actual church event. So on April 18th, we're going to have a Sounds of Praise service where we're just going to have music and praise dancing and any kind of arts like that. It'll be here at Allen Temple. More to come. We're going to have on the 20th, which is the Saturday, we're going to have Community Day from 10 a.m. to 4, where we'll have health screens and giveaways and food and just letting the church, letting the community know we're here. Then at 6 p.m. that evening, we're having the gala, and it's a black tie affair at the Marriott North. And you can check the church's website, my website, Instagram, all the social medias. We have flyers for the events, for how to obtain tickets, hotels, all of the things. And we will close out our celebration on that Sunday with our guest speaker will be Reverend Dr. David Green, Al's good friend from Florida. And he's from St. Stephen's AME in Jacksonville. So we're from the basement to the temple, reaching one soul at a time. And also just a little preview that on that Sunday, we're going to baptize our grandson, Hezekiah Jermaine Dunn Allen, since all the family will be here. So we hope to see you at all of the events, at some of the events. All right, I'm going to get started because I don't want to hold you guys up. So I told you last week that the message that I originally had, God said, no, put that down. I got something else for you. So I told you I had a good sense of humor. So today's message is the message I originally planned last week. So the title of this message, I hope y'all don't get in your feelings this morning. Just who do you think you are? The title of the message is Just Who Do You Think You Are? Now, some of you on my live may have never been asked this question before. Or maybe you have never had someone look at you with pure disgust or hatred in their eyes just because you have the position, the education, the spouse, or the lifestyle that you have. And maybe this question is reserved for those of us who have stepped out on faith to be the first to do a thing, to build that house, to apply for that position, or to write that book. And listen, this is not gender specific. And believe it or not, in 2024, there are still some of us becoming the first and sometimes the only to do a thing. And that just amazes me this morning. Good morning, everyone. I see you all. Thank you guys for joining me. So the ones that just hopping on now, the title of this message is Just Who Do You Think You Are? So it's 2024 and we're still being the first to do something. Pastor Dr. Gina Stewart was the first to preach at the National Baptist Convention in like 129 years. The first female. Really? Okay. And that's a whole nother message, so I'm not going to get onto that because that's coming another day. But some of you know what happened, but she brought the word. You got me? She brought the word. I am Claudia. There you go. Hey, Auntie. So, it may bother them that we're the only ones. It may confuse them that we're the first one of our kind. It may anger them that we got into their system that was not designed or set up to include us. But we kicked the door in anyway. But guess who it doesn't bother? Me. And it shouldn't bother you either, because he knew the plans he had for us. Because none of this happened by accident. It, and whatever your it is, was preordained by God. So it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter that they have the nerve, the audacity, or the kahunas to part their lips and ask you, just who do you think you are? Listen, don't argue with them. Don't get mad at them. Sometimes they just can't help it. Because look, when racism, sexism, and ageism, which is what I'm a part of that generation now. Racism, sexism, and ageism are systemic in nature. That means they're woven into the fabric. It's part of their beings. Now, the funny part about this is we all get a turn. And so I remember being a nurse in my 20s, looking at the older nurses thinking, how much longer they got? Guess who's there now? Guess whose turn it is? Mine. But ageism is a part of it. The young folks think they're never going to get old, because I was a young folk one time and didn't think I would get to this age and still want to work and still want to do and don't want anybody to stop me from doing my job. So they may not even recognize it until you bring it to their attention. The ageism, the racism, and the sexism. But please do bring it to their attention in real time. And what I mean by real time is this. Don't wait till later to correct them or to check them. It's just like a kid. When a kid is acting up in public, you get them, you address them in public. Because if you wait till you get home and you done stopped at a couple of the stores and you want to get them when you get home, they're not even going to remember what they did because they're on to the next thing. So you need to check them in real time. And remember, I told you, confrontation does not have to turn into something violent. It doesn't have to be a cussing match. You just need to check them. And we're all grown on here. So we should be able to check somebody without having to cuss them out, without having to swing on them. Because if you can't do that at this age, then you need to go get some help. If you can't control your temper and your mouth as an adult, it's going to haunt you. It's going to come back to bite you. So when you check in somebody for coming at you sideways, when you check people for their shade, when you check these people for being nice, nasty, you ain't got to cuss them. You ain't got to do none of that. Okay? You just check them like an adult. Check them like the Christian that you are. You ain't got to start cussing or nothing. Because if you mess around and you wait until the next time you see them, then you address them and you say, hey, I want to talk to you about something that happened a couple weeks ago. They're not even going to know, especially if they're ignorant and rude and nice, nasty, and they used to making snide remarks in a sexual manner or talking about somebody's age and you're that age or being racist. They do it all the time, so they're not going to remember your time. So you got to get them in real time. And when they say it, or whether they look at you in a way that you know they're thinking, just who do you think you are to become the first black man to do what you did? The first black woman, Kamala Harris, Dr. Gina Stewart, the first in your family And hold on to that, because I'm coming down everybody's street to set out to do a thing that has not been done before by anybody that looks like you, not by anybody that shares the same skin color as you, not by anybody who shares your gender. They don't wear their hair like you. They don't have the same facial features that are distinct to us. So don't get down on their level. Keep your head high and keep doing what you're doing. Because if they had the ability to stop you from getting that position or building that house or getting that loan or anything that you got where you're the first to do it, they would have stopped you, but they couldn't stop you. So don't you dare stop yourself, because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Our lips are not the same as their lips. Our noses and their noses are not the same. Our brother's swag and their brother's swag is not the same. The sway in our hips and the sway in their hips is not the same. And let me say this before I move on. Just because we're different, just because we're not the same, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means we're different. Everybody is different. There's nothing, if everybody was the same, what would the purpose be? If we were all men and we were all women, which wouldn't work because none of us would be here, but if we all had the same face, we all had the same nose, we all had the same size lips, we were born with these. They buy them. Okay. All right. We come from different sides of the track, and that's okay. Absolutely. Lady Vanita, I see you. It's okay that we come from different sides of the track. You cannot help the family you were born into. You cannot help the color of your skin that God wanted you to have. Now, there's some things you could help. There's some things you could change. But the family you were born into, you didn't have nothing to do with that. You just showed up. Now, we were raised by a different set of standards. Our taste buds are different because of the type of food our ancestors passed down. But it's okay. None of these things make either of us bad. We're just different. And it is okay. And that's the thing I want you to get out of this. It's okay to be different. Sometimes somebody got to be different. But you know, some people can't handle our differences. Some people have their preconceived notions about a particular group of people without ever getting to know them, without ever getting to know us. Yes, there are good and bad people in all cultures and races. We as Black people can't help that the media chooses to highlight our negative behaviors in heavy rotation. And I mean it. If we jaywalk, you're going to see it played on every news, every local channel. Meanwhile, millions of dollars is missing, but you'll never hear that. But if any of you on here think that we as Black people are the only ones doing illegal things, bad things, inappropriate things, and sometimes deadly things, then log off now, because this ain't the program for you. So go ahead and log off. All right, now moving to phase 2. Now, I talked about this question coming from people who are different than we are. But I have to ask you all the questions, and I see everybody is on here because you all look like me. So let me ask you this question. Now, hold on to your hat. Hold on to your wig and your lashes and your weave. But what if the person at the end of the question that says, just who do you think you are, looks like you, has the same last name as you, lives with you, was raised with you, belongs to the same church as you? What are we supposed to do with that? How are we supposed to handle that? See, it's easier to handle someone asking you, who do you think you are, when the person is relatively a stranger and we don't care. They don't mean anything. They don't pay, you don't pay my bills. You don't do it. They don't mean anything to you. But when it's family, when it's your own, when it's somebody that's in the same address as you, when it's somebody that has the same bloodline as you, when it's somebody that has the same skin color and shape of nose as you, when it's family, when it's your church family, when it's the Black family, and when it's our real family. What are you going to do when they look at you and say, who do you think you are to apply to go to that school? Ain't nobody in this family ever went to college. So I guess you going to be the one to go to college. Right. Where you going to get the money from? Because I didn't get to. And it'll all stem back to what they didn't get to do, which has nothing to do with you. We all got the same. I heard somebody say we all got the same 24 hours to get it together. And if you don't get it together, them 24, guess what? If God willing, you got another 24 coming. I'm sure the pain of that question coming from them as in somebody look like you, that's one of us, feels like betrayal. Because if my own don't want me to succeed, if my own family member don't want me to get it, if my own person in the church, my pew member don't want me to get it, if my own person, but somebody look like me that works in a hospital that might not be in the position I'm in, hating on me and scheming on me, that I would have to lose my position because they don't have it, I don't understand. If my own decide to become crabs in a barrel, trying to pull me back by discouraging me to quit, don't you quit. Quitting should not be in anybody's vocabulary on this live. Not one person. I feel you, Renita, I feel you. Quitting, so I'm almost 61. So I was the only black that graduated from my nursing school 32 years ago. I was the first to graduate from high school in my immediate family. My grandma didn't, my mom didn't, my Uncle Bill didn't. It was on me. And so for me, somebody had to break the mold and do something different. And so I had to set it up so that my brother Munt, my sister Lisa, and my brother Michael knew that education was important. But also, because my mom didn't graduate, she didn't say to me, well, who do you think you are graduating? I didn't graduate and I'm doing fine. She didn't. She pushed us. She knew education was going to be our way out. So she pushed us. And I'm not the only one whose parent that didn't graduate, didn't get, my mother stopped in 9th grade. But she pushed us. And I know mine isn't the only one, but I'm just telling you from personal. So she didn't say to me, who you think you are gonna get you a husband? None of us, nobody in this family ever been married or happily married. Who you think you are to build a house? Ain't nobody built a house. How you even buy a house? Ain't nobody in this family ever bought a house. Who do you think you are? See, when it comes from them, the others, you can brush it off like, yeah, whatever, because you got yours, so you're not getting ready to stop me. You can't stop me. But when it be your own people, that hurt. Because if you can't go to them and say, I need to just vent off some stuff that just happened at work. I need to vent off some stuff that I went into a store and somebody that was entitled stepped to me and I had to bite my tongue, because a lot of times I bite my tongue because I know there's cameras everywhere. And as a wife and a mother and a daughter and a sister and a community leader and a choir director and all of the things that I do, and a nurse that took a vow not to do any harm and to help people, I can't be seen arguing and fighting with an ignorant, nice, nasty, rude person in public. That's a waste of time and a waste of my breath. I hear you, Dr. Davis. When somebody asks you who you think you are, I am what God made me. And that's the truth. All of us. So now let me say this. I will say one of the things that I believe Gen X and millennials got right was their freedom to love whoever they choose to. They don't care about skin color. They don't care about what part of the city they grew up in. They don't care about nationalities. They will not let us, the boomers and older, keep them in a chokehold, because back in the day, those kind of relationships didn't work. They seem to have figured it out. They realize at the end of the day, we are all the same. We will all leave this earth one day. And when we do, it won't matter how much money you had, how much fame you had, how pretty you thought you were, how much plastic surgery you got to keep you young. You may keep the outside young. You may keep your outer appearance tight, lifted, bigger, all the things that y'all go to the plastic surgeon to do. But when you lay in that casket, your insides are still the same age. You can fix the out, but you can't fix the inside. You still gonna be 70. You might be tight and all, you still gonna be 70. You can go get facelifts until they touch in the back. You still gonna be 70. See the Gen Xers, the millennials, they don't care, because it won't matter how handsome you were, what your pedigree or bloodline is. It won't even matter if because you got money, you choose not to be buried in the grave, but you're in a mausoleum above the ground. You just as dead above the ground as you are in the ground with me. So none of that will matter. None of that will matter. So keep doing what you're doing. Don't let anybody stop you. I don't care who they are, how close they are to you, what they mean to you. If they really care about you, they're going to support you and lift you up. Because as they lift you up, you reach back and pull them. Not crabs in a barrel where somebody is getting ready to get out and they get pulled back in. Get under somebody that you see is getting ready to be the first to do something. Don't talk about them. Don't go, yeah, she might be doing that now, but I remember when. We all remember when. All of us have a past. All of us are ex-somethings. Don't fool yourself. So when you see somebody get ready to be the first to do, you push them. Don't talk about them, especially to others, because they don't do that. They come together. They don't care if they don't like each other. They come together as a collective to get the job done. So we need to support and push each other so that when we get to where we're going, we can pull people up with us. We can encourage them. Listen, I grew up in the projects. I didn't have nothing. And look at me now. It's not because of anything I've done, but because God ordained this. I keep telling y'all, there's nothing by accident. And I don't care that I'm the only black one. I don't care that I'm the only female one. When I'm in the room, I'm going to speak truth to power, or don't put me in the room. And to this day, I still get questions. You're the nurse. Yeah, keep it pushing. What can I help you with? You ain't got to be rude or nothing. My sister and two other sisters started a foster care agency. They're owners. I know people said to them or looked at them, and some of the people that she used to work with and left these other agencies, I know they looked at them and said, who y'all think y'all are going to start and going to get some of this government? Who? Guess what, though? She probably, 15, 20 years in, that's who she thinks she is. They probably said that about this church, and I'm going to end with this. But I said about this church. Who do they think they are? Setting up downtown Cincinnati, the AMEs. Well, 200 years later, we're here. They're here. And we thank God that we're the ones that's going to usher it into 200, heading to the next 200. So I believe you guys, don't let anybody stop you from doing what you and God have agreed to do. It's going to be hard, but He's going to open doors and pave roads for you. Nobody going to be able to do anything with. It's going to be hard. We don't have it nearly as hard as the people that tried to integrate white schools and got spit on and talked about and beat. We have nothing to complain about. We can go in any restaurant we want to and sit down. They couldn't be fed. They couldn't stay in hotels. And we whining about, get out of here. Grow a backbone. Because we're already standing on the shoulders of so many people. And you know what? Those people didn't have education and didn't have the opportunity like you all have, like I had and still have. So you Gen Xers and millennials and I don't know what's behind them. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it done. Fix what we broke. I don't know what's before the baby boomers, but whatever that generation is, my mom's generation. Fix what we broke. Get it together so we can be strong as one. Y'all see what's getting ready to happen. You see what the election is heading. I don't know what's going to happen. God's the only one that knows. But I'm telling you, let's get behind. Let's get behind somebody. I don't care if it's the first. You the first one. Don't be mad because I'm the first one. Help me be the first one. Help me stay as the first one. But I don't want to be the last one. I may be the first one that graduated from that nursing school. Or was the only one in that class. But I don't want to be the only one. I want to encourage other people to come on and get it. So, listen, I'm going to go. God is the best knower. So he saved this one for this week because he needed me to speak something last week. And I thank God for just giving me a word and keep speaking to me every week. I appreciate it. And my friend, my family, Roger Sanders on here. You want to talk about a hustler and a man that don't quit and professional? And I don't know any black entrepreneurs that own furniture stores, but I do know Roger Sanders. So I praise God for you guys. Keep being it. And if you're the first and you're the only, help bring somebody else in. Encourage them, mentor. You got to mentor these kids. So I can't start another message because I'll talk about how they come in for interviews and how they're dressed. And I don't know what happened to the suit and all that, but that's another message. We'll talk about that. That's going to have to be a workshop. All right, listen, I'm going to get out here because it's our 200th anniversary. We have Dr. Robert Smith, who is a phenom when it comes to preaching excellence. So he's speaking this morning for the actual 200th. So check our social media for the upcoming events. And once again, if you think this message will help anybody, please share it. Please send it to somebody else. And thank you, Calvin. And Cousin Calvin, keep us posted, please. Just keep us posted. All right, you guys, I'll see you next week.